This week on WestfordCAT News, we feature the Forge Pond Beach Project.
So we started to look at it and we realized if we're going to replace the playground, we should probably relocate it to a safer spot on the site away from the water.
We introduce you to a small group of foreign exchange students at Westford Academy. And we update you on the latest efforts designed to help the LaCoste family. Stay tuned, WestfordCAT News is next. I'm Tracy Tebro, a WestfordCAT board member. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to sign up for our email alerts to get our latest Westford news articles. Just visit westfordcatnews.org and click on the red subscribe button in the upper right corner. The first phase of the upgrade of the beach area at Forge Pond is underway, with a groundbreaking anticipated for September 24th or 25th. According to Parks and Recreation Director James Duane, improvements will focus on building an accessible and safe play structure, designing pedestrian pathways, reconstructing the parking area, improving drainage, and installing benches and picnic tables. Here's Duane.
From the results of the master planning concept, we met with the public several times, and we realized that probably the most important things to do down here would be to replace the playground structure, make it accessible to and from the parking lot, and while we're doing that, to upgrade the parking lot, which clearly has, served the public well for a number of years, but at this point it's time to improve it, improve the handicap accessible parking, all of those things, emergency access. So that's what we did. We put forward a design study. We finalized the design. We shared it with the town through public meetings, Board of Selectmen, Planning Board, Conservation Commission, and ultimately settled on what we're calling Phase 1 improvements, because it's what we have funding for, and that's the playground, the accessible walkways, and the parking lot improvements.
State Representative James Arcero has secured state funding for the project. Here he is with more information.
And my daughter is 3 years old, and we have a tradition over the last 2 years is we go to village breakfast in Forge Village in the morning, and then we go to the beach. And over the time, every Saturday morning going down here, all the children that would come, parents would come with their children, etc., would run right for the playground. And it started to scare us a little bit because the playground had fallen into disarray. There were sort of sharp pieces and objects on it, and there were actually whole sort of safety areas that were missing, and there were pieces that were had fallen into disarray, as I said. So I went to the Park and Rec department and sat down with them, and just as a citizen, really putting my citizen hat on, was just inquiring if there was any plans to improve things down here. I mean, look around. It is a jewel. It's a beautiful area to come and have a picnic, to spend a day in town with your children, either in the summer or in the fall, like today, this morning. So I talked to the rec department, and they were very open to improvements here. And from there, I think Jim Duane and the recreation department had a series of sort of public meetings and taking input on how we can improve things. So I came up with the idea as a legislator, putting my legislative hat on, how to improve things in your own community, your own neighborhood, and I've had some success with that. And so I was able to leverage an earmark of $100,000 to start not only on a study for sort of a master plan, if you will, of this area, but also to start improvements on a new playground here.
WestfordCAT will bring you updates on this project as they develop. About 24 Spanish students visited Westford Academy on September 16th and 17th. The group was on its way to New York City to see the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty. But before they left, some of the students took the time to speak with WestfordCAT News Director Joyce Polino Crane about their experience here in town.
So this is our 5th exchange with Spain. We started 10 years ago, so we try to go every 2 years. It starts, from our perspective, it starts in November, October, November, when we start to recruit students who would like to participate in an exchange. And an exchange means that in the fall we host students from a Spanish-speaking school. It's been Spain every year. And they stay with us and live with our families and attend our school for 2 weeks. And then in April, we reciprocate, and the students that hosted travel to Spain for 2 weeks in April and live with the family of the student they hosted and attend their school.
Well, I love America, and it's my 2nd exchange. 2 years ago, I came here, and I loved it, and I wanted to repeat the experience.
Now, are you a senior?
Yes, in Spain, yes.
In Spain, so are you applying for college right now?
Well, in Spain we don't apply for colleges, but yes, it's kind of similar. It's similar.
So we have an exam at the end of the year. So if we pass that exam, we have the possibility to study what we want. But if we don't pass that exam, we can't go to a university.
We come from a town called Salamanca. It's in the center of Spain, close to Portugal. It takes 1 hour to go by car to Portugal and 2 hours to go to Madrid. So it's in the center.
And how did Stephanie connect with you?
It was through an agency in Spain called Prometur. I phoned them to tell them that we were really interested in taking part in an exchange, and they provided me her address, her contact, and we started to keep in touch by emails, and it has been the most amazing experience of my life.
So it's been really an amazing experience. One of the things I love the most is when I see students who have participated, and I'm watching these students just their experience, just watching them experience for the first time so many new things and watching them interact with each other. It makes everything just so special for me, and as a teacher and as a mom. And I've actually, as a mom, been on the other side of things where I've hosted for exchanges, and so it's just, it like Asun said, it's been one of the best experiences of my life as well.
And now for our feature of the week. In 2018, resident Joanna Donaher attended a meeting of the Agricultural Commission. There, she proposed launching a bee colony in a common area with a fence to keep the bears out. The idea took hold, and now there are 12 apiaries and hundreds of thousands of busy bees making honey. Here's Paulino Crane with beekeepers Kathleen Bernard, Chris Panella, and Donaher.
So Joanna, when do you harvest the honey?
So beekeepers tend to have 2 harvests that are available to them in the springtime and in the fall. For example, since we just installed our bees last spring, these smaller boxes over here behind Joyce, these are smaller than these deep supers. They're called supers. These have also 10 frames, and these are where a beekeeper can store the frames for honey and take it to be extracted. But this year, since we're just starting off, we're going to actually save the frames of honey for the bees to winter over. Try to give them as much of a chance to survive the winter as we can.
So nobody's storing honey this winter?
We are not extracting any honey from any of the beehives in the apiary because we want to give the bees as big of a chance to survive the winter as possible.
To see a longer version of this video, visit WestfordCAT.org. As many in Westford know, Kevin LaCoste, the principal of the Robinson School, was critically injured in a fall from a tree on July 21st. As he recuperates in the hospital, a group of his friends are pulling together to help him out. On Saturday, his friends held a barn dance with a silent auction and raffle. The event attracted about 200 and raised $19,000, according to family friend Megan Kane, who was one of the organizers. In addition, a Kevin LaCoste building fund has been established at Jeanne d'Arc Credit Union at 196 Littleton Road, Westford. The money raised will pay for the ongoing renovations of the LaCoste family home to make it wheelchair accessible. Leading the effort is resident Nancy Cook, who reports on Facebook that the funds are short by about $38,000 of the $268,000 needed. Checks payable to the Kevin LaCoste Building Fund can be brought to the credit union or mailed to Nancy Cook at P.O. Box 869, Westford, Massachusetts 01886. The 1880 Abbott Windmill at 39 Main Street is under repair for the second time in 20 years. And for the second time in those many years, Jim Collins has traveled from his hometown of Poteet, Texas to repair it. Collins once again brought along his nephew, Hagan James. Also helping with repairs is former arborist Mark Donahue of Lexington. Here's Collins, followed by homeowner and historian Ellen Hardy.
And what I do is I go all over the country and I restore pre-1900 windmills for people. And we're working today on this one, and it was put up in the 1870s. And I came up in 1999 and did a restoration on it, and we put what was taken down, what was bad, and restored it at that time. And now the wheel and the tail has been up there 20 years, so it got in disrepair. So I came up from Texas. I built the wheel that goes on it down in my shop in Texas, and I brought it up. And that's what we're doing, is a restoration today. We already have the tail up. We have some of the wheel sections up, and hopefully we can complete the wheel today.
When we bought this property, Joyce, in 1997, only the bottom 2 floors of this structure existed, and we didn't even know what it was. But then someone gave us a photograph of the property that was taken in about 1900, and there was this 75-foot water pumping windmill, and I just thought it was one of the most beautiful structures I'd ever seen. And I wanted to get it rebuilt. And it's too long a story to tell you how I found out about Jim Collins, windmiller from Poteet, Texas. But he came up in the fall of 1999 and rebuilt the top 3 stories and the vanes and made it look like new. So 20 years later, it just needed a little bit of repair, and to my delight, Jim said he'd come up and work with Mark Donahue, a local newly minted windmiller. But it's just so beautiful when it's whole. It would be like having somebody who had their front teeth missing, you know. I just couldn't have it sitting up there missing so many of its veins. So I'm just thrilled that Jim's back in Westford and can fix it for us.
We're pleased to tell you that WestfordCAT's Adoptable Pet segment is now sponsored by Whole Pet Veterinary Center of Westford. To become a WestfordCAT sponsor, contact Sarah Fletcher at 978-692-7152. This week, we turn our attention to Finn, a 4.5-year-old male black cat, available now at the Lowell Humane Society. Here's WestfordCAT production coordinator Patty Stocker with more.
Finn is one cat you'd love to cross your path. This 4-year-old fella is available now for adoption at the Lowell Humane Society. Shelter volunteer coordinator Marie Belargin has more.
This is Finn. Finn is a 4.5-year-old male cat that came to the shelter because he had a urinary blockage. Basically, that meant that he was not able to urinate and he needed emergency care. Since he has been with us, we have had success in treating him for that blockage. He had a surgery to correct the blockage, and he is on a prescription diet. So he is going to require a veterinary reference, meaning that we're looking for an adopter who has a really good relationship with their veterinarian. Finn would do well in a home with older, respectful children. He does not want to go home with cats. He does not like other felines, but he might do well with a canine friend. He did successfully live with a dog in the past. Since he's been here, Finn has definitely won our staff over and our volunteers. Throughout his medical treatment, he was very tolerant. He let us do what we needed to do to help him without giving us a hard time at all. He was just a very sweet boy. And his previous owner said he was a very sweet guy there too. He can be a little bit of a wild child. Finn has been with us since the end of June, so he's definitely ready to find his forever home. He definitely is a very good boy.
So let's find Finn his forever home. Contact the Lowell Humane Society at 978-452-7781 or stop by to meet Finn Tuesday through Sunday at 951 Broadway Street in Lowell. Visit lowellhumanesociety.org. You can also find them on Facebook. For Westford Cat, I'm Patty Stalker.
There's a touch of autumn in the air. Let's see what weather.com is predicting for the coming weekend.
I am Betsy Alvarez, a WestfordCAT board member. Here's what's happening around town over the next few days. Relieve stress and anxiety in your life by practicing Qigong and Tai Chi at the Cameron Senior Center starting Thursday, October 3rd and continuing through Thursday, October 24th from 7 to 8 p.m. These two forms of gentle exercise help reduce stress, improve balance, and expand range of motion. You must be 18 years or older to participate, and the cost is $50 for residents and $60 for non-residents. To register, visit WestfordRec.com. The Pug Rescue of New England will be hosting a Pug Puppy Social at the Middlesex County 4-H Fair in Westford on October 5th from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. There will be games, races, contests, raffles, nail trimming, vendors, a photo tent, and food trucks. The Pug Rescue of New England asks participants to bring puppies no less than 5 months old and for all pugs to have their necessary shots. The dogs must be leashed at all times. Register on site for pugs and people. For more details, visit pugrescueofnewengland.org. The Westford Smoke Fest Barbecue will be held at the H.E. Fletcher Social and Athletic Club from 1 to 5 p.m. on September 28th. Enjoy music while eating pork ribs, pulled pork, burgers, hot dogs, sausages, coleslaw, and baked beans. There will also be horseshoe and cornhole tournaments. Tickets are $15 for the food and $10 for the tournaments. All proceeds will go into their scholarship fund. For more information, visit FletcherClub.com/events. Back to you, Tracy.
That's it for now, Westford. We leave you with the award-winning underwater photography of James Peddle, whose gallery reception at the Parish Center for the Arts is on Sunday, October 6th. See his works on display now through the month of October at the PCA.